Torfi Tulinius, professor of medieval Icelandic studies at the University of Iceland, has interpreted the wonders of Fróðá in light of contemporary conflicts. His interpretation of the episode is that it can tell us a great deal about people's ideas in the 13th century, especially on the role of the chieftain, since it is a chieftain who finally manages to put an end to the hauntings. Torfi has little doubts about the episode's distinction.
Now, Torfi, the wonders at Fróðá are described in some 7 chapters in Eyrbyggja. It is an unusual piece of narrative, if measured by its length, if nothing else. Because
well, it's unique. It's not only unique in Icelandic medieval literature, but in the whole corpus of medieval literature. As such a long and detailed, strange and well-composed ghost story, you can't find it anywhere else. And in addition, the author is so preoccupied with visual detail that you can almost see the things happening. And for me, one of the wonders of Fróðá is that no cinematographer has come upon the idea of making this into a movie. It would be a perfect script for a wonderful movie. Just this story, just 7 chapters from Eyrbyggja.
Yeah, because it is an episode that could stand on its own, really.
Yes, well, of course we perceive it in its context, which is the context of the story, and especially we perceive it because it happens during the conversion period. It happens the same year Icelanders have converted to Christianity, so we have to understand it from that perspective. But it could, absolutely, it is a self-contained episode, or can be understood as a self-contained episode, and you could make it into a movie, absolutely.
What about the origin? Some scholars have, written about the question whether it's an original narrative, an indigenous piece of literature, or if it's imported from some European work of literature.
I think it's an epitome of the complexity of the origins of these sagas. The sagas about early Icelanders, or Íslendingasögur, are from all kinds of material. They are also a very original type of literature, even though they can be read as modern-day novels or modern-day fantasy novels. In this case, they are nevertheless, their origins are very complex. On the one hand, because they are written in the 13th centuries, but they talk about events that take place 2-3 centuries earlier in the place, in the geographical spaces known to the authors and audience of the sagas. They are very realistic, and they use tales, orally transmitted tales from the past. So I think that when you try to study what an episode like the Wonders of Fróðá and want to understand from where it comes, you have to look at social memory. So there might be some kernel of truth in it, but then it has evolved, and it is involved along different lines, or different components come into it, very likely. On the one hand, just the way a tale evolves as it is told, how a tale evolves from an experience into a story, just through, that's the thing folklorists are studying, but also into that tale come all kinds of mythological motifs, folkloristic motifs, and then this is a Christian culture that is repeating these stories over and over again, and the author obviously is Christian and is writing for a Christian audience, so he will probably work into it, consciously or not, all kinds of material from his Christian heritage.